policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Beautiful Tuesday morning here in the city of Lagos, where we broadcast from, and it's also the 9th day in the month of December 2025. You're welcome to another interesting edition of VOP this morning. I am Fina Okechukwu, and on the show today we have quite interesting stories that made it to our white table today. One of the topic of conversation is we have a shock More like a very bad news, a sad news, as Nigerian soldiers escorting brigade commander in Yola allegedly shot dead 7 protesting women. And we learned that some other persons also sustained various degree of injury. Away from that story, we'll go down to a particular state in Nigeria where the governor himself have declared that any contract that will be awarded or any appointment that will be made will be done or given to APC members. And that's actually the condition. We heard also from Edo State that cabinet or appointed members must wear the cap that have the alphabet insignia on it. If not, you'll be falling out to the governor of the state. And we'll move away from that to move straight to what is happening within the Labour Congress, where we learned that there is a protest scheduled to happen on the 17th day of December over the insecurity, incessant killing and kidnapping of Nigerians. And this will be a nationwide protest. So these are the major topic of conversation for us today. We have other interesting trending stories, but before we proceed, kindly visit our website, www.vop.ng, where you have fresh and trending news. And also subscribe to our YouTube if you've not done that. Our YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV. And across all the social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live.
Very sad news indeed. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukuma Okoro.
And I am Moses Humphrey. Now let's move away from those topics and get into another conversation. Now there was mild drama, well some call it mild, but I think it's a major issue and it's something that should be addressed. Well, there was drama played out in Ile-Ife, Osun State, on Sunday during the 10th coronation anniversary of the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and the installation of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, as the Yeye Asiwaju Gbogbo Ile Oodua. Now, the moment captured in a viral video saw Senator Oluremi Tinubu interrupting Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke, as he delivered his remarks at the high-profile event. Now, in the video that we will be playing for you, this video that has circulated online, Governor Adeleke was seen singing mid-speech to the amusement of the crowd when Senator Tinubu approached the podium and in a low tone urged him to wrap up. Now the First Lady was heard, those that heard her saying, "I'll give you 5 minutes to conclude your speech. Enough with the music, or I'll switch off your microphone." Now it happened once, it happened a second time. The event was held in the ancient city of Ile-Ife, attracted traditional rulers, political figures, and dignitaries from across the southwest and beyond. Now, it marked the formal conferment of the prestigious chieftaincy title on Senator Oluremi Tinubu in honor of her contributions to the Yoruba race and national development. Despite the interruption, proceedings continued smoothly, with Governor Adeleke, bracing up to it, trying to shake it off and act like nothing really happened as he went on to complete his address. And the ceremony, of course, moved on. Yeah, without any further incident. So let's have you watch the video and then we'll come back and react just for a minute or two. I wonder why the sound isn't there. I should have had the sound there actually, and I hope you can see, because this is quite zoomed in, but I hope you can. Okay, so those were the two occasions. Well, I wish we had the sound there, so that we would have, seen the governor trying to sing a song. I think he was trying to sing, but I can't remember the song now. I wish we heard it. But interesting part is there are a lot of sides to it, and I think the First Lady's media team said, "Oh no, they were just having banter," But
Doesn't look like that.
Doesn't look like banter. Doesn't look like banter. And we know the Governor Adeleke. We know him for the usual dancing, the usual singing. He's a jolly good fellow. Now he might have done that a little too much, but I don't think it's it will around this disrespect, because as far as I am concerned, this is disrespect to the governor who represents the people of Osun State. It's disrespect to the people of Osun State. And for goodness sake, the governor is the host of the event. It's in his town. It's in his town. So he's the host. Yes, the Oni of Ife might have been the one who invited the First Lady to confer her with that title. But the governor is the major host. So basically came into his home to disrespect him. You know, and then there are different angles to it. Different angles. I don't want to go into whether President Tinubu is from Osun State originally and how, you know, they felt, okay, I don't want to go into all of that. But this, and let's not lose sight of the fact that, one, we are Africans. And the issue of respect is paramount in the way we do things. Now, there are a lot of sensitive angles to this, but I think the First Lady should apologize.
When they've told you it's already a banter?
No, regardless. I think she should apologize to the governor. I think behind closed doors now, this might not make it to the media, I think the president also should speak to the governor and maybe, you know, calm his nerves or whatever. Tell him, look, apologize of some sort. All right? But the First Lady should tender a public apology. The president might call him.
You know that won't happen.
It's exactly, that's
But it should happen.
It should happen, but
regardless.
But in the circumstances we find ourselves, you know it won't happen. You see, my take on this is this. I love music a lot. I dance a lot. I could go to a party and dance from like 10 to 6 in the morning, as long as the party lasts. But I don't mix it with business. I don't dance in the office. I love Jackson Adeleke, but I don't love the fact that, you know, he dances a lot, even in official businesses and all of that. But that doesn't take away the fact that the First Lady disrespected him. You just said that the governor is the host of the event. He is the governor of that state. And you have a non-state actor. Whether we like it or not, turn it 360 degrees, the First Lady is a non-state actor.
Exactly.
I mean, she doesn't have constitutional powers to do anything. She is just the wife of the First Lady or of the president. And it ends there. And it just ends there. So this is disrespecting the authority, a constituted authority of the state of Osun. It's not Osun State, or they say, what's his name? Rauf Aregbesola said it's the state of Osun, which gives it more powers in the federation. And we have the First Lady coming to, that doesn't look like a banter to me. It was like, but you know, they said the best answer to somebody, you know, it's just silence.
You know, after the first time, he tried to ignore it and, you know, continue with the song a little bit. And she came a second time. Now,
and when she came the second time, her facial expression was
revealed everything.
Yes, revealed everything. It's like this has to stop at this moment. You know, she took the paper and put it back and all of that.
The hand movement of the paper was just to make it seem like, okay, we are having a conversation.
It was disrespectful.
It is disrespectful.
You know, and if we go back in history, that was the beginning, that was the takeoff point of the problem between Rotimi Amechi and Goodluck Ebele Jonathan at an event in Okerika. Exactly. At an event in Okerika where the First Lady said, look, enough of this.
Madam P.
Mama P. You know, and so she went and took the microphone from Amechi.
Yes.
And what did Amechi do? Amechi had to, withdraw his security. And the First Lady was left there without security. It took the efforts of her
This would not have happened if Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State. This would not have happened if it was Wike that was there in power. This would not have happened if it was Governor
Makinde.
Yes,
Makinde.
That was there. This is disrespectful. This is annoying.
It's annoying. And it speaks to a larger problem in the society. When people think that, or when people say that we are gradually descending to dictatorship, it is things like this. And you know, when leaders' wives, you know, sit behind them and urge them, and even come out in public, you know what Elena did in Romania? Elena, the wife of Nicolas Ceausescu and all of that, it started like this. It started like this until it boiled over. So we had better watch it, because the way things are progressing, the first lady goes to a state where people have been killed and all of that. She donates 1 billion naira and walks away.
The first lady organizes party for
parties
the National Assembly at the time when
in the
Nigerians
midst
are
of
hungry.
killings, when Nigerians are being killed.
Nigerians are hungry.
And people are clapping hands
party.
and all of that. She goes to a place and students sing, you know, be our mama bidis, and a few of them are harassed.
Another thing that crossed my mind: if he had gotten to the podium and started singing "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand," would she have interrupted him?
I'm sure she wouldn't.
She would not have.
She would not.
On whose mandate indeed?
No, I don't know.
No, it's deeply troubling. Some people are turning it into skits and all of that, but it speaks to who we are as a people, democratically. We had better watch it. Otherwise, by the time everybody is rounded up,
The only thing I can say to this is I'm happy that Jackson Ajeleke is the governor of the state. We have a senator too, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who happens to be the wife of the president. So I know that they all are political elite. So they will find a way to solve their problem. Recall what played out when Obasanjo was invited for a birthday party.
When we allow these things to fester and say that it's political class, they'll find a way to resolve it.
They'll solve their problem.
It impacts negatively on us as a people.
Not really. You know why I'm not going to look at it that way? Because I know that if this must have happened to a normal person, average Nigerian, it wouldn't have generated.
That's exactly the point. A society's stability is measured not by how it treats the rich and wealthy, but by how it protects the vulnerable. That is what
we are not seeing it playing out. You know already that
we should hold them to account.
We know we should hold them to account, but at this point, believe me, tomorrow, because of the political gain and everything, what if Adeleke come up with what if the governor come up to say,
they can shake hands or whatever. But this show is a show of disrespect to the people of Osun State. And I think that something should be done. There should be some sort of apology, even though I know it's not going to come.
No, you never can tell. But another thing is this: what happened if we turn out to be that we're crime moderate? Because we will have to wait for the governor himself to come up to say something.
We need to speak, and that's what we are doing here. We need to speak as Nigerians, because if we don't, our political class will continue to do these things. So it's not crying more than
a norm.
Yes, it's not crying more
than. And when society is patterned according certain lines, it becomes difficult to change.
It's going to become. It's not norm already. Is it not?
So that's what we are trying to. We need to have a reversal of all.
So for me, all I have to do is I want to wait and see them solve their problem themselves. That's my own opinion.
But it's not their problem.
And no, it is their problem, because It is going to
pain
me. You know what is going to hurt me the most is after all this that we're talking about now, and tomorrow someone will wake up to tell us, "Oh, what happened there? Forget it. It's just us having banter and all that."
It doesn't matter. The people of Osun State were disrespected by one of their own.
By one of their own.
Yes.
And the person who
is married to someone from
Osun State, the person that disrespected them is not aware of the disrespect.
That's what we are trying to bring to her knowledge.
Solve their problem themselves. That's all I can say. Because tomorrow you wake up, the person fighting for will come and tell you, no, forget about it. It doesn't work that way.
Let's get into something that is interesting as well. The first posthumous birthday of former President Muhammadu Buhari will be commemorated on December 17, 2025, with a public presentation of a book authored by Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who served as Minister of Information and Culture during Buhari's administration from 2015 to 2023. Former President Buhari, who passed away on July 13, 2025, will have turned 83. The book entitled Headlines and Soundbites. I like that title, Headlines and Soundbites, Media Moments that Defined an Administration, chronicles governance, communication, and nation building during his years in office. The event, scheduled to hold at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, Abuja, by 10 a.m., will be chaired by Chief Bisi Akonde, former governor of Osun State, and pioneer interim national chairman of the All Progressives Congress. While the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, is expected as Royal Father of the Day, leading other eminent traditional rulers. The book provides insight into how major national policies were shaped, defended, and communicated during Buhari's presidency. The event is being organized by Book Launch Committee, which, in a statement, described the publication as an insider chronicle of governance and communication during the Buhari era. Well, looks like more like a memoir of Lai Mohammed, not that of Buhari. So according to him, he's going to tell us how they said something and headlines and sound bites. I like that word, sound bites, you know. Let's just tell you this thing so that you go and walk away with it. Don't bother us again, you know. I like to read this book and see what happened, you know, during the Buhari regime and the role Lai Mohammed himself played.
How decisions were taken.
How decisions were taken. How they decided to blame PDP for the 8 years of the administration. I hope he's going to chronicle all of that. It's going to be an interesting read.
If wishes were horses, believe me, beggars will play polo.
Okay.
Now, when you expect to see all these things you're pointed or reading out now inside that book, you won't see that. It's not going to make it.
Until they said headlines and sound bites.
Oh, Baba, you know, we'll wait and see how it turns out.
Honestly, it will be a very interesting read, and I like to see how, like Moses said, decisions were taken and all of that, how were pushed out to the public in terms of, well, were they communicating or were they playing politics or was it propaganda and all of that. It's a book that every Nigerian, and I think people in ADC should go and read this book as fast as they can so that they'll learn lessons. It's also going to tell us, I know there will be a prayer, the moment and after, you know, so that they will understand, and I hope that Lai Mohammed will tell us his role as National Publicity Secretary of the ADC, or of the APC, you know, in the days leading up to the elections and how they worked around it to ensure that Buhari won the elections. It's going to be a very interesting read. I expect it, you know.
I also believe that the words of Buba Galadima will also make it to the book too, how he was being begged, how they begged him to come join the politics, even when he hated politicians, because that was what he told us. They practically dragged Buhari to come back into office so that
we'll hear
the
all of
OPC
that.
killings.
I'm very sure all of that will be there.
Let's see how I'll get the hard copy.
You will?
I will. I'll find a way to get a hard copy. Yes, because
the Baghdad's book sold for how much at the launch?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. It was in excess of billions.
But they should please make it also to have a soft copy too, so that people like us can, you know, access.
But you just said
But I'll have a hard copy of it.
Okay, for keeps.
For keeps.
So their children can also read.
Exactly, that is it. Find a way to have it. Away from that, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Somweke, has disclosed that budgetary provisions have been made by President Bola Tinubu to support the judiciary. Wike, in his goodwill message at the special court session formally marking the commencement of the 2025-2026 legal year of the Court of Appeal in Abuja on Monday, stated that provisions have been made to construct additional residential houses for FCT High Court judges to mitigate housing shortages and ensure all judicial offices are appropriately accommodated. In a statement by his spokesperson or spokesman Larry Olayinka, Wike disclosed that under the president's decisive action, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has formally handed over the certificate of occupancy for the Supreme Court's land and commenced the full perimeter fencing of the entire complex to safeguard the nation's apex court against encroachment and security breaches. In his words, the swift, long-awaited intervention gives the apex court of our beloved country the much-needed confidence building which had not been done in past administrations. Wike also listed various interventions and support the president has provided for the judiciary through the FCTA, to include the ongoing construction of secure and befitting residential quarters for heads of courts within the FCT and the ongoing construction of a new magistrate court complex in Jabi District to expand access to justice for FCT residents and reduce the burden on existing court infrastructure. He further stated that the projects were designed to directly support judges in the performance of their duties. Interesting one, initially after the 300% increment of the salary and the allowances of the judges, Nigerians were like, oh, do we really need to go further to say we want to build a house for them? This caused a little rift. I could recall when Nigerians were talking about it, saying that building houses for the judges in one way or another is a way to more like induce them, not to no longer be straightforward when they want to pass the judgment. They might be influenced by such gain. But now that the FCT minister is telling Nigeria that the president also have made it a budget, include the building of houses for judges and every other thing that has to do with the FCT judges, administration too. It speaks volume to where our money is going to. For you to ask him, or the borrowing.
I actually don't have a problem with building houses for judges and judiciary officers, I don't have a problem since it has become, what the FCT is about now. Trying to make them comfortable and the rest. That's the language. It's okay. It's fine. But I don't think it should be restricted to judges alone. I think every other civil servant should have some sort of housing built for them. I mean, everybody needs to be comfortable to be able to do their jobs well. So I would like to see the minister of the FCT as well allocate some sort of land and property for civil servants within the FCTA and other ministries as well. I would like to see other states, because it shouldn't be judges or judiciary workers within the FCT alone that are benefiting from this. We should have governors in other states. There should be some sort of a policy or something, a law or something that would say that, okay, governors in their states should build structures or provide land to judges, judiciary workers within their states, and also state workers. I know the cooperative organization, the cooperative society in most MDAs and parastatals do that. But let's see this go round.
I have problems with this.
It's not.
Move.
I know you would.
You know what I have problem? No, not that. But I have problem with this. We have three arms of government: executive, legislature, and judiciary. Why won't they find a way to structure the salary of these people so that it will go more like be a par with us? We don't know how much the president is earning. We don't know how much the governors are earning. Even the money is being paid to the National Assembly members still today, we don't even know how much it is. So let them find a way. Instead of handing them incentives and more like they're doing them a favor.
I thought you were going to an angle that I'm going to now. But you now talk about salaries, and we are talking about building houses for judges and all of that. I don't have a problem with building houses for judges, but I have a problem with the process of doing it and who exactly is the one doing it. Now, according to what Fina said, which is a fact, we have the three arms of government: the legislature, the executive, and judiciary. And in our constitution, in our financial accounting, we have what we call the Consolidated Revenue Fund. This is drawn direct by the arms of government. Now, Abuja has a special status, so we more like treat it as a state. That's a different thing. But I also understand that judges' salaries and emoluments come through the National Judicial Council, headed by the CJN, who is the head of the judiciary. There's a problem that we have the FCT minister building houses for the judges. No, it should be the NJC building houses for the judges. That way, you will understand that there is no influence, that separation of power is pure. But under this case, we have the executive building house for judges to do what? To influence them. That is wrong. It clearly means that they are trying to bring the judiciary under the purview, under the influence of the executive. It shouldn't be. We have a budgeting process. We have the Ministry of Justice. Now, the NJC comes under the Ministry of Justice. If the judges need houses and accommodation, it is the NJC that will make appropriate requirements through the Ministry of Justice, and they will not accommodate it in their budget. So that during budget defense, not the minister to go and defend it. It is the Minister of Justice that will go and defend that budget so that houses will be built for judges. That is the process. So what we are doing now is bypassing process so that we have the judiciary under the influence of the executive. The same thing happens with the legislature. So that is where I have the problem. Because we are not following due process. That exactly is my problem in this arrangement. We should do the normal thing. We should follow due process so that the three arms of government will be very, very independent of each other. That's the only way we can build a stable democracy.
All right. I think that's how far we can go, on the branches and all that. We'll just have to take a quick break, maybe in 1 minute or thereabouts, before we come back and review what the national dailies are talking about today. We have quite interesting stories that made it to the cover page of the national daily. So do what to stay with us. Welcome back. It's still VOP this morning. Quickly, we have the Nigerian Tribune, we have the Vanguard newspaper, the Daily Trust, and a whole lot more. But I would like to start off from the Nigerian Tribune today. The window headlines are $2.4 billion Eurobond or receipts remittance drive Nigeria's $7.5 billion reserves surge. That is coming from research team. Right after that story, other African markets record improvements. Court bars AMCON appointed lawyer from representing GHL over disobedience of court orders. To Rakilat PDP governor's orders hold marathon meeting amid convention plans by Wike's camp. And we have the banner headline, Insecurity. Binance Circle Northern governors reject call for ban on mining. Rep quiz ERC over 109 moribund licenses, accuses discourse of unethical practices. Tinubu in separate meeting with Fubara, 7 APC governors. ICPC Works Ministry begin nationwide audit of 760 road projects. On the health sector, Dankwi vaccine gains first major approval. We have another banner headline or bold headline again on the cover page of the Nigerian Tribune. Gunman murder pastor's wife, raise house, vehicle in Anambra church, kill 4 in another community. NSA hands over 100 rescue pupils to Niger governor. U.S. Congressman Moore says security talks with Nigeria productive. Those are the stories on the cover page of the Nigerian Tribune.
And from the New Telegraph newspaper, recapitalization spurs strong Q3 2025 gains in banking stocks, outperforms border equity market. CBN grants final licenses to 82 BDCs. Court bars AMCON appointed lawyer from representing GHL over disobedience of court order. The window headlines. Nigeria's foreign reserve hits 6-year high at $45.04 billion. Federal government unveils 50 million naira equity-free grant for tertiary institutions. Nigeria, West Central African Airlines implement free route airspace to save fuel, reduce emissions. Court refuses Nnamdi Kanu's application for transfer from Sokoto prison. The big story, insecurity. US, Nigeria agreed to dismantle terrorist networks, address targeted killings. With the riders, as both countries establish joint task force, Tinubu meets 6 northern governors behind closed doors, urges security agencies to ensure swift return of remaining 115 school children. Will implement short-term protective measures for high-risk areas, Ribadu. FG charges judiciary to speed up hearing of terrorism, kidnapping cases. Bereku replicates such swift intervention in Nigeria's internal security, ADC tells President Tinubu. Another major headline, Wike's Caretaker Committee, contempt of court. That's according to the PDP. Governor Mohammed can't stop mass defection from party, FCT minister. SANU threatens strike over marginalization, unpaid 50 billion naira allowances. Orders. ICPC Works Ministries track 36 trillion naira federal road projects nationwide to audit 760 roads nationwide. Tinubu warns public officers against corruption in governance. Says Yaradua wanted Nigeria governed by institutions. Meets Fubara Nwifuru in Aso Villa. And the bottom strip headline, Trace supplements can reverse autism. That's according to a study. And that's it from the New Telegraph newspaper.
Now let's go to this day newspaper. The big story here, US says Nigeria on right path after conciliation with Team Ribadu. All right. Congressmen conclude visit, reveal security framework within site, ensure safe return of remaining abducted students. Tinubu tells security agencies. Welcomes return of 100 school children in Niger State. All right. And then on top of that one, we have Judge. My order restraining AMCON over GHL subsists. Bars AMCON appointed lawyer from GHL. IGP. Nigeria police suffers greatest reputational damage from misinformation. 2025 licensing round. NUPRC releases ground rules set signature bonus at $3 million to $7 million. disqualifies previously defaulting firms. Government debtors. Sets minimum turnover for bidders at $100 million for deep offshore, $40 million for onshore. Commission denies withholding. FEE says over $185 million, 14.9 billion naira released to NNPC. And then there are some other headlines here. Well, I think that's basically it, actually. Those are the headlines on the cover page of this day newspaper. So now, let's move away from newspaper headlines. At 10 o'clock, we'll get into reviewing these headlines with incisive analysis. But in the meantime, let's get into the conversation. Shock as Nigerian soldiers escorting brigade commander in Yola allegedly shot dead. Allegedly shoots dead 7 protesting women and others injured. Well, let's talk about this when we come back.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osariti is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Glad to have you back. It's still VOP this morning. A peacekeeping mission in Lamurde local government area of Adamawa State turned deadly on Monday after soldiers reportedly opened fire on armed protesters, killing at least 9 persons, including 5 women. The victims were among residents demonstrating against what they describe as the government's failure to protect them from repeated attacks by unidentified assailants targeting their communities. According to reports, the peaceful protest was led by women chanting and calling for help after weeks of violent incursions that left several villages exposed and fearful. Eyewitnesses told journalists that chaos erupted when military personnel allegedly tried to disperse the gathering. The situation escalated quickly, leading to live ammunition being fired into the crowd. Following the shootings, violent clashes broke out and spread to nearby villages. Communities reportedly affected by the unrest include Tinguno, Suwa, Balaifi, Wami 1 and Wami 2, and Wuduku, and many, where we learned that many persons, were injured and, houses were being set ablaze. A local resident speaking anonymously due to security concerns said the actual death toll may be higher than initially reported. What we are saying on the ground is far worse. The situation has spiraled out of control and more dead bodies are still being discovered, the sources added. The security situation in Lamode remains tense, with residents fleeing for safety amid fear of more violence. We've been joined in the studio this morning by Mr. Elvis Elimihele, political and public affairs analyst, and Prince Francis Chilaka, who is also a public and political affairs commentator. And from Abuja, I'll be joined by Mazi David Ihoma, Esquire, and also he will join us in the capacity of a public affairs commentator. From Oka, we'll be joined by Chika Nguba, a Knight of St. Christopher, and also who happens to be a good governance advocate and public affairs analyst too. Good morning, gentlemen.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Prince Francis. Good morning. It's good to have you join today's conversation. Good morning, Mazi David Ihoma, if you can hear me. Without wasting much time, I would like to start off from you, Prince Francis Chilaka. What do you make of this, that the people or soldiers do allegedly, because the CDS is yet to tell us what is really happening, what happened in Yola and all that. We learned that 9 persons were killed when people were protesting the killings and kidnapping in their community. What do you have to say about this, please?
When you have a situation that an issue keeps recurring and you don't take decisive steps to curb it, it becomes a norm. Between the Nigerian military and the public, there has been this frosty relationship. Unfortunately, at every turn, the military takes out its frustration on the public rather than channel it in the right direction. In 2015, you remember what happened between Buratai and I think the Shiite Muslims in Kaduna. And the claim was that, they blocked the path where he was supposed to pass and they opened fire. And then you ask, when the military begins to open fire on harmless, unarmed civilians, it simply shows you that there's a break in communication between the people and those who govern them. Till date, nobody punished Buratai for doing that. Because he took the laws into his hands.
Now, how do we get to this point? Of course, the women that were protesting in Yola were protesting the kidnapping, the fact that their communities are no longer safe. And they were chanting, they don't have any arms.
I'm coming to that. I said, we're allowing illegality to become legal. Okoma is there. You find out that each time there is a misunderstanding between the military and the community, the military goes to wipe out. It started with Obasanjo. Zakibian. So a lot of these things have played out, and it has become a norm because the military feel that, they have arms And so the people must run from them.
Why should we invite the military to go into the community for peacekeeping? Why should we do it? Because that was what happened in Okoma that led to the killings of the military, which, you know, further led to a president.
Because you do not have enough policemen to do the job.
What happened to the civil defense?
No.
Because we know they are not very hard.
It's the police. You have your policemen. The presidency has given a directive asking policemen to be called back from protecting VIPs. Is it not shameful that your IG will come on TV and say, if you see reports? Is it not shameful that the police command will station people on the road at the airport to arrest their own? It simply shows you that the police do not even have a database of their personnel. So the problem is the fact that the institution is not working. Institutions that are meant to work in this country are not working. And as long as these institutions do not work, nothing would, be in the right place. So, I mean, these are women. Women, we're not even talking that, we're not even saying that they are youths. Do you know the number of youths that the military have killed? The last I checked, Amnesty International said about 10,000 youths have disappeared in the hands of the military. But rather than punish those who should be punished, you give them ambassadorial appointments. You elevate them. So it means that everybody will do the same. So why would a military people, military officers going for peacekeeping begin to shoot at women? You open fire at women. That is the height of impunity. It's a disgrace. But yet, nobody has said anything about it. Our president is quick to go to Benin Republic. We have insurgents in Nigeria, ravaging, running wild. You have not used the same might you use in going to Benin to subdue them. You leave your house that is burning and you're going to quench that of your neighbor.
Interpretation of the moment. Could it be, I'm just trying to make excuses now. Could it be that there was a threat that was perceived?
What kind of threat? Is Nigeria, are we in Palestine? Are you not saying that Nigeria has become like the Hamas, where women, cloud themselves with bomb and all of that? No. Nigeria has not gotten that bad. So when people say, threat to what?
Perceived threat.
Let me tell you, the problem we have is that Nigerians have become so used to the military that they have no value for the military. And the military, they have lost respect of the people.
They don't have value for the military, or
they have
a sense of fear over the military.
There's no fear anymore.
Not respect, but
Let me tell you, before now, when you see a military man on the street, you respect him. You hold back.
Exactly my point.
But the point is this.
What we see now is fear, not respect.
We don't even see the fear. We don't even see anything.
No, I mean Nigerians. What do they have for the military? Is it respect or fear?
Is it? You can call it no respect, it's fear.
Okay.
But that fear now is also eluding. Go to my 2. It's not far. Go to my 2. You see area boys standing on the bridge there, harassing people who go to the port to clear their cars. And if you see a military man and you try to talk to him, the military man itself will first of all run, because he does not trust what will happen to him with those boys. But it wasn't like this before.
Okay, Elvis, let's have your reaction to what happened at Lamode yesterday. What's your reaction? How did it hit you, when you got the news?
I felt bad. It's pathetic, especially when it has to do with women. And these women have been terrorized for some time, and they were protesting because they were not covered. There was no protection for them. And the only way they feel they can air their grievances was just to come out. You see, they were holding leaves. That shows sign of peace. They were not out for anything like violence or anything like, we want to destroy. They were just lamenting the situation they find themselves. Unfortunately, the people they so believe in that, maybe this can even be of help. We are even people that came and opened fire on them. That's why I felt so bad about the whole situation. Like he has said, we had this kind of situation sometimes with the Ezazaki people. See, today, that matter is still on. You see them coming out to the street in Abuja and even in Kano. We have OD that was leveled during Obasanjo's time in Delta. We have had so many of these. We have the Zakibia in Benue. So many of these with our military.
In the military tradition, who should be held responsible? Is it the brigade commander or that they were escorting, or is it the soldiers?
No, definitely.
What will happen in terms of court martial? Who should be held responsible?
The brigade commander must be called out because he is the one that has his boys. Then his boys, he should be able to fish out, because as a senior officer, a brigade commander, you are not supposed to. He's supposed to have known the ethics of his job. Descending to so low to that extent, releasing arms, live bullet on women. The brigade commander, before you pick, by the time you pick, my people always have a program. They said when you pick the mother hen, you use your hand to round up the chicks. Pick the brigade commander, then every other officer, junior ranking officers around him that carried out these men, they all be court-martialed and used as example for others. We are counting numbers here now.
Opinion that the shooting happened maybe in self-defense, juxtaposing that with what played out with the brigade commander, Sani Uba, who was killed, after he called his team to say this is what happened and all that. And now it's more like the military are beginning to, become a bit apprehensive, and that was what
Uba found himself in the midst of terrorists. This military, the brigade commander, no matter how this picture is painted, found himself in the midst of women, unarmed women, harmless women. The correlation has nothing to compare at all. These were just women, helpless, and they were carrying leave, telling the world that they are helpless. They need help from even the government that kits the military, the government that with the women that pay the taxes for the military to be kitted and taken care of, and now the military that now started releasing a live bullet on them. It's
so
pathetic.
let me quickly add this. We like to cover things up in this country. We remember what happened with the NSAS, even though we try not to talk about NSAS. But we remember what happened with the NSAS, where it was finally agreed that the military opened fire. Why is it that our Nigerian military officers are trigger happy? Why? We need to know why.
That's a very important question there, but looking for answers to that question is the issue. Why? Why do we have trigger happy officers? And who brings them to book, really? That's the big question. Because in a lot of cases, the people don't get to see these perpetrators being brought to book. We hear that they are court-martialed. Some of them take their ranks taken up, but is that enough for the lives lost? Well, let's take this conversation to our virtual guest, Mazi David Ihuamanel. Now, what becomes... Good morning to you. Let's establish communication first. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you join the conversation this morning. Now, very simple question. What becomes of a people when their protectors have turned out to be their tormentors? What becomes of a people?
Well, the fact is that the Nigerian army has exhibited this tendency of killing unarmed protesters. Right from the time that the IPOB members were protesting up to the point of the NSAS protest. One could recall that when the NSAS protest became violent was when the Nigerian army killed the unarmed protesters in Lekki Toll Gate. And that culture and impunity of Nigerian army is killing citizens who are just protesting without any punishment meted to them has made them kill people extrajudicially without any accountability. And such cannot be condoned in a democratic setting. Everybody must be held accountable to any life that is lost by his act or omission. Because we understand that the circumstances where a person can take life is where there is insurrection or in defense of self. That is where you can willfully take someone's life outside the recommended means through judicial process, because only the court that can pronounce that someone life should be taken and such person's life is taken. So outside this, any other means through which any person's life is taken must be held accountable before the law. So the Nigerian military has nurtured this culture of killing unarmed protesters, and such must be rebuked and restrained with reasonable forces of law.
Mazi, some persons are of the opinion that military, they are peculiar people with, training and all that, and they are not trained to be inside Nigeria or inside any country, but to man the external borders and make sure that they protect what is happening within. What do you have to say about the fact that we have military personnel littered everywhere? Not like putting checkpoints and all that. From Lagos to the south, you have multiple checkpoints and all that. And we have seen them use the fist curve, the strong training they must have gained during the drills and all that on civilians. Why do we have them everywhere? Why do we have military being sent for peacekeeping?
Well, the Nigerian military has been overstretched. Normally, they ought to have not been their responsibility to mount on checkpoints and maybe to maintain internal peace. It is the duty of the police to maintain internal peace. That is why the creation of state police become inevitable in this time, because the Nigerian armed forces, we are not meant to maintain internal unrest, but external protection of the Nigerian border from any intruders or any aggression from the neighboring countries. But because that we have a weak security system, that is why Nigerian armed forces were deployed to maintain internal peace. But the Minister of Defense recently has ordered that all the military officers on the roads should be withdrawn and be placed in places where their service is extremely needed. That Nigerian police should be allowed that responsibility to mount on checkpoints or maintain peace within the cities. So I think it's the right thing that the state police should be, the bill that seeks to establish state police should be established, so that the states can now have the requisite capacity to employ people like security agents that can now mount and checkmate the criminal activities within the centers than employing the services of military men to mount checkpoints or maintain.
All right, I would have loved to ask you, from the angle of the law, who can fight for this and who should be held responsible. But I'll probably come back to that question if time allows us. But let's bring this back to the studio now. Prince Francis Chilaka. Now, I know you don't speak for the military, neither do you speak for the government. But as an analyst, you've seen a few things, you've observed a few things. But how often do you think psychiatric tests should be carried out on persons that bear arms to ensure that we don't see things like this?
It should be a continuum. I mean, it shouldn't be something you would regulate.
Should it be made public? Should such things? Because we've seen policemen, we've seen soldiers lose their mind and kill their partners. Mm-hmm. We've seen issues like that.
Not only the soldiers, the police are doing it. I think it was last week or so, the CG of Customs, Adeni, said something that I applauded. He said they're going to be carrying out drug tests on men and women of the Customs Service. We need it in the army, we need it in the police. Ordinarily, every arm of this security should have a special unit that carries out evaluation, that carries out tests, that they go to visit the psychologist. Do we have it? Do we have it? We must, while all this is going on, we must also look at, these are military men, these are security personnel. What is their life like? Where do they live?
Can that be a contributing factor?
It is.
For them to shoot innocent people instead of shooting children.
No. See, a lot of things play out. And we must all be honest with ourselves. You can't give what you don't have. It's as simple as
living conditions could make them go insane.
Living condition can make you go insane. The salary you earn can make you go insane. Sometimes have you ever had to sit down with the rank and file in the Nigerian army or the Nigerian police for them to tell you what they are going through? You will know that they need more psychiatric evaluation than those in the psychiatric homes. You are protecting a man who sleeps in an air-conditioned room, he enters an air-conditioned car, he enters an air-conditioned office, he eats the best of the food, drinks the choice wine. And where do you sleep? Sometimes you sleep where the mosquitoes would feast on you. And you want that person to be normal.
Exactly the point. Now, instead of going against the very people that oppress them, they go against innocent civilians. That's the question.
Because that's where you go to where your strength lies.
Okay, now Prince, let's bring in our guest from Oka. He is Chuka Woba. Chuka Woba is a knight of St. Christopher. He's a blogger, good governance advocate, and public affairs analyst. Good morning, Mr. Chuka Woba, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning. Okay, you need to unmute your mic so that I can get your audio feed.
Good morning.
Beautiful, Chuka. Good to see you. Good to see you again. Now, we having a situation in Adamawa State, Lamude area, to be very particular. And we saw soldiers escorting their boss, the brigade commander, unleash terror on innocent women. I'm sure you have followed the conversation for a while. So let's have your reaction. What do you think? What should we do? Who should we hold responsible?
Well, it is very bad when Nigerian government employs cultists into the armed forces. When cultists are employed into the security system of a country, that's what keeps happening. Because I don't know why any right-thinking human being who underwent training and who went to school would openly shoot protesters who weren't armed, protesters who were not causing unrest. So it is very bad. You see that it just explains to you the characters that Nigerian government employ recruiting to the security system of the country. That's why it is always good, because if you see these policemen, these military men that take laws into their own hands, that go all the way.
It's an interesting angle that you've brought to this, Chika. It's a very interesting angle, especially seeing that there's a call for about 20,000 more recruits into the police force. Are we, without addressing the usage of arms, the mindsets of those that bear these arms, are we likely to see more problems? We also bear in mind.
Yes.
Also bear in mind that there's a conversation going on around road safety personnel bearing arms as well. Are we, if that passes through, are we going to see a bigger problem on our hands?
I will bear arms too. I may have to bear arms too, because there are so much proliferations of firearms in Nigeria. So there are too much arms up there in our society, and it is not good. So like one of the discussants that stated, it is very bad that Nigerian army can be seen on our roads everywhere. Nigerian army does not curry respect again. They do not enjoy fear, you see. So because before you could find military men passing, then not a common sight. But today, you see that military men do the jobs of police, do the jobs of civil defense. They behave as though they are no longer poised to protecting the Nigerian state. You see it? So it is very unfortunate. There is no need recruiting anyone again into the armed forces.
You think so?
Those who have been recruited already are not living up to expectation.
Okay.
Their welfare is very bad. Government does not take care of them. That is the truth.
Okay.
Government does not even care. And VIPs now make use of them as though they are their personal assistants. So it is very bad. There should be no further recruitment until the ones we already have are taken good care of, retrained, and in fact, they need serious work.
Training and retraining, indeed. That's the president also spoke about rejigging the training institutions of the police and maybe some other military agencies as well. Let me bring Mr. Elvis back into this conversation. Basically, the issue about recruits, I mean, you know how some of these people come about. Some of them are just, people with no formal training, no people who are ruffians in the neighborhood, and then they get drafted into the military, the police, and the rest of them. And then with this 20,000 that we are having, that the president has ordered to be recruited, and the usage of arms, what can we do? Let's look for a solution. Now, we know the problem. What can we do to ensure that things like this don't occur again?
Yeah, it's even very fearful now, because the rate at which we are desperate to get this 20,000 now, because the president has made pronouncement that we should open up the flank to recruit. And in Nigeria, we don't always get the best when it comes to matter of this nature.
That's enlightening.
Yes, because before now, politicians will begin to bring some of their foot soldiers who were trained as thugs for them. Imagine somebody who is a thug for a politician, carrying probably pump action before. And now he's going to be recruited into the police.
AK-47.
And he's going to be given AK-47. Now he has a better license to have a better
authority to shoot.
And now to face Nigerians, whom he was also terrorizing with a pump action before. You can imagine how that is going to be when these guys are not monitored well, when they are not well adequately trained. The president is talking about renovating the training institutions around. They release money and they will be touring around. It is not just renovating the buildings. The people that are coming to be trained in those buildings must also go through that renovation. They must also go through that adequate training and rehabilitation, because most of the people you pick from the street now, all in the name of want to get this 20,000, they are not going to be the best. We said something like that last time, because the hurriedness in picking them now, and the politicians are going to make recommendations. Definitely, they are going to make us. We saw what happened in Okota during the governorship presidential election in 2023, when we saw talks came out. Those are the people that you are going to see now. Sometimes when you see some of Nigerian security personnel outside, you take a closer look at them. You see, how did this one get into this force? You look at the way they look haggard. Look at the way that some of them, even before they leave home, they are on drug, or they are even on this, they are baraga or whatever. Is that how it's supposed to be? And you get to the office, you sign for a gun, and you are going to meet civilians on the street, armless civilians on the street, and you've already taken some of these substances at home before you go and sign for a gun. Is that part of the training? These are some of the things the training should really emphasize on, so that we don't have more of this. Tomorrow, Amnesty International will release the Nigerian Armed Forces infraction against the civilian. They'll be denying it. But these are obvious facts, what we are seeing now.
Okay, Prince, we are dwelling on insecurity now, so I want to expand it a bit. We had a debate the other day on my show, and we talked about Christopher Musa, the new Minister of Defense. As CDS and Minister of Defense, when do you think that he will have more powers to fight insecurity?
Well, as a Minister of Defense, it goes it's no longer to the military.
Okay.
Not only attached to the army, where he originally comes from. So now he has a broader responsibility. Okay. And that broader responsibility means that we are expecting him to bring the experience he has garnered over time, the money we spent on training him and kitting him. We expect him to bring it to play.
Okay, let me be more direct in my question. When do you think that he is more powerful, as Minister of Defense or as Chief of Defense Staff?
More as a Minister of Defense.
More as a Minister of Defense. Okay, so
because as a minister, every other person comes to him. It's like the NSA.
Okay.
But for me, an NSA is an aberration. We shouldn't have it in the first place.
Others do.
We shouldn't have it.
But others do.
Because when you have an NSA that is compromised, for instance, the whole system is compromised. Because the NSA is the one who goes directly to Mr. President. All the security report comes to him. So you need a man of honor and proven integrity.
Okay, so under the situation that people in Adamawa found themselves the other day, what do you expect the Minister of Defense to do?
When you talk about the killings?
Yes, the killings.
Well, you're expecting...
And also understand that these people were responding, they're reacting to a certain militia, that has ravaged their area. In the light of all of this, what are expectations from the Minister of Defense?
What I expect from the Minister of Defense is professionalism. Right now, I expect him to, the brigade commander should be arrested. It's very important. You need to instill discipline in the system. And that discipline starts from the head. When you arrest the brigade commander and you put him through rigorous interrogation and get him punished, I am telling you, those following behind will learn from it.
So who should order the arrest?
It's the Minister of Defense.
Or the Chief of Army Staff or Chief of Defense?
Well, it comes from Chief of Army Staff to the Minister of Defense. We see, the problem we're having is lack of discipline. And that indiscipline, as far as I'm concerned, runs across all our security apparatus. And that's why I said, is it proper for an IG to give an instruction handed to him by Mr. President? And yet, a lot of police officers are not obeying it.
So apparently they are disobeying the C&C.
Exactly. So they need to be punished. But you have a system that does not punish people for crime in this country. That is the problem. That is why the insecurity is festering.
Insecurity, yes. We've been talking about insecurity for the longest time, and we will continue to talk about it until there's headway made in that area. But something just comes to mind. A conversation that has trended on social media over the weekend and for some time now, that happened in Auchi, the issue of, I can't remember his name now, the man... Yes, Harrison, and Harrison. He's not an official of an officer of the law, is he? No, he's not. And the issue around him negotiating with bandits is that whether monies were taken off and trackers placed, and and then he was arrested, and then they were not even talking about tracing or tracking the tracker. Is that an indictment on the security architecture of Nigeria, where individuals who are non-state actors are now involved in negotiations, ransom payments, and the rest? Do we please let me start off with you, and then we'll spread it around to other guests.
First of all, Moses, how did he get himself recruited into that job?
Exactly.
That's the failure of the security system we have in this nation. This is tracking of kidnappers or terrorists or whatever.
Is he a registered investigator?
It's supposed to be the job of the armed forces and the security personnel. An individual, you don't even know his antecedents. You don't even know his background. Now just came in.
But obviously, it's not the first time.
It's not the first time, but where is he coming from? Maybe a private investigator. Was he trained by Nigerian government to do that job? He came in and said he's now the one that is now mediating between the kidnapped victim and the kidnappers. How did he get himself recruited? Those are what we are talking about in the studio here. That the system failed and the system got decayed. That anybody that just come in is welcome, whether it's normal or not. The same thing is what we are talking about now. That you are recruiting now. You are trying to recruit some people into the same armed forces now. You are going to pick people on the street who you don't even know where they are coming from. Nobody can evaluate their character, and you just bring them in and give them uniform and give them. So Harrison got himself a job. He got himself a job, and the government allowed him to be using
and he's making videos.
And he was making video and posting it, and it was like he was the one that was now doing the job of the government for the people. Then he got himself overwhelmed because there was nobody regulating him, nobody is checking him, and anybody that is a victim that finds his family in the custody of this kidnapper wants his family to be released. I thought
exactly.
As quickly as possible. So Harrison now got a job that now festered before he got to where he is now.
It's the failed system. It is the system that has failed and nothing else. You have a Sheikh Gumi, you're talking of Harrison. You have a Sheikh Gumi that has been all over the place negotiating. The only difference is that we don't know whether Sheikh Gumi carries the bounty or carries the ransom money. But you have a Sheikh Gumi, it started from there. It started because the system has failed the people. And when the system fails the people must find a way around it. Before now, the police will tell you no ransom is paid. But we now know that ransom are paid.
But isn't that against the Constitution? Because we could recall
Which
that...
Constitution are you talking about?
The National Assembly have made payments of ransom illegal in Nigeria.
Let us say, if we want to have Nigeria working as a nation, we need to discard that 1999 Constitution. And I'll tell you why. Just as we're talking about the institutions not working, the political class is also aiding the rubbish we have in this country. It is because of the problem you have with the Constitution, that is why somebody would decamp from APC to PDP and retain the title he had in APC. Is that not an aberration?
Okay.
So we must have a system that works. And for the system to work, Mr. President, his ministers, everybody must be accountable. The problem is that there is no accountability in the system. Nobody gets held responsible. The IG of police by now, if Nigeria was a sane country, should resign. Because what has played out in Edo and Auchi has put
dented the police so much.
It has dented the Nigerian police. Now the Nigerian police is not going after the kidnappers. Everybody is focusing on 5.4 million. So the money has become the issue. But nobody's talking about the life that is at stake.
All right then. Let's go back to Abuja. Mazi David Ihoma, your thoughts on this really? You know, the individual, we've had Sheikh Gumi rise to where he has risen to. Now we have a Harrison rising as well. Tomorrow it might be somebody else. It might be Elvis Elimehele negotiating. We've had it. But on a more serious note, how can we solve this problem? Who do you expect to hear from in the immediate and, you know, to douse whatever is going on right now?
Well, Nigeria needs to overhaul its security architecture. I think the bill at the National Assembly to establish state police in all the states that have the capacity to maintain them is a very good bill and should come to light, because if there are securities in various states, in local governments and villages, all these things will stop. The problem is that we don't have the adequate manpower to be able to dictate and nip the criminalities within the state and the board. That is another issue. So I think the only solution we can have to this is to have a formidable security system that ensures security from the state from the state level to the village level. Because if we're able to restrain and impede any attack that can be made of the society. So I think that bill will be a game changer for the Nigerian security system, whereby the state can have at least a reasonable number of security personnel to mount their state from state, local government to village. When there are adequate securities, there is no how a state actor can now hijack or arrogate himself the power to investigate or aid, apart from giving information, relevant information that can lead to arrest of anyone that has alleged to have committed offense. Where there is adequate security, there is no how a non-state actor can now arrogate himself the power to track or investigate offenders or kidnappers.
All right then. Thank you very much. Now, Chika, now you are one person. Let's go to Chika now. Chika in Abuja. You're one person who has had quite the fallout with security personnel, and also as a student union member, you've had some confrontations here and there. How can we solve this problem? of the problem that we are having right now. Non-state actors delving into the fray, deciding on who speaks for who, and also the issue of ammunition in the hands of people. I mean, you were saying the other time, if FRSC decides to bear arms, you too will bear arms. But we know that's not the way to go. But how can we solve this problem that is that has eaten deep into the security architecture of this nation?
One of the ways these things can be solved is to have the National Assembly doing what it should do, to have the presidency doing what it should do.
Which is what exactly?
One of those things is getting the security architecture working how they should work. Now, it should begin with training and retraining of personnel. It is not about recruiting new people into the armed forces. So, and I am against state police. I am against state police because the governors will use state police to wreak havoc on dissenting voices. I am against it.
Why exactly? I mean, do you think is it because you've been attacked quite a number of times?
Yes. States like Ebonyi will abuse it. States like Ebonyi will abuse it. So it is very wrong, for state police to be allowed to come, because these governors, some of these cultists we bring in as governors, will use the state police and kill democracy more. So I am against it. One of the ways to fight this is not by creating state police, because who are you going to recruit into the so-called state police? These are the cultists that governors use to rig election. You say it. So what Nigeria should do is to start telling themselves the truth. The president should start telling himself the truth. See, there is poor welfare of personnel. Their welfare system is very poor. I can't even pay my PA the kind of thing they are paid as money. So it is very wrong to say that we should recruit more by stopping these things that happen. Okay, let me just tell you something now. Okay. Everything in this country has been politicized. Someone, a House of Representatives member, wrote petition against me to the Nigerian Police Force headquarters, accusing me of being a member of ESN, Eastern Security Network, a serving member of the House of Representatives. So you see that the political class is not even ready. They are not even ready to solve the problem. So there should be this total rejigging of the system. One, let there be welfare package for the personnel, both in the army, both in the police, civil defense, and all of them. Number two, let there be retraining. There should be retraining. Then the third one should be involvement of technology. There should be technological idea. The government should bring in drones. In fact, train some of these personnel
on the usage of some of these things.
Yes, so it is very important, and not we are still operating at the level of awkward practice.
All right.
There should be involvement of technology. So these things are not rocket science, and all of us have to be involved.
Oh well, the issue of security, it will continue to be discussed until we make headway in it. So I think this would be a good place to leave this conversation, gentlemen, as we get into another conversation now. Now, Governor Umar Eno has said that, look, membership of the APC is the only reason contracts will be awarded to anybody. You have to be a member of the APC. Let's talk about this when we come back.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Lovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course,
Governor Umar Eno of Akwa Ibom State has declared that only members of the All Progressives Congress APC with names in the party register will qualify for government contracts and appointments. A sharp departure from his earlier promise of bipartisan governance, where he defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress. Well, Mr. Ono made a declaration on November 29 while addressing select party leaders at Okana, Esenudim local government area, the home of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, signaling what appears to be a complete ideological surrender to the man he once politically opposed. In his words, and I quote, "We've taken the party register and we are going to look at it and see whose name is not there. Like you are aware, we've seen dissolved the boards, and it was intentional because we cannot continue to carry boards that are not loyal to the party. By the grace of God, we will soon sit down and reconstitute the boards using our party register." End of quote. Well, this marks a stark shift from his promises in June when he joined the APC, assuring Akwa Ibom people that governance will not be weaponized against the members of other political parties. When he defected to the APC, Governor Umar publicly said development, not party identity, will unite Akwa Ibom, and said political party is merely an instrument for seeking elected offices. We still have these gentlemen here with us, Prince Francis Chilaka, Elvis Elin Mihele, and Chika from our studio, and Barrister David Uhoma from Abuja our station. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us. Elvis, where are we headed to in our democracy? What kind of democratic culture are we building? Governor said in one breath, he said this, in another, he said, no, we are going to do things differently. Is it troubling that we see a governor said, look, all the government positions will be occupied, including government contracts will be awarded to only members of our political party? How does it hit you? What do you think?
It's so surprised to hear this from Governor Umar, because I remember that June when he decamped to APC, where he was like, he's going to carry everybody along. He's going to work even with the PDP people that he was leaving. But unfortunately, a state that has more of civil servants, and a state where everybody is like, okay, let's join hands together to develop the state, and you are now coming to like divide it, you are segregating it. Is it not what we are talking about in the state police matter of just now? This is just contract now. That because he is sitting there as governor and he has the power to now say who gets the government contract and who is going to be appointed into the board, he has now come up now and said it's only APC persons. This is APC that he just went in just about 6 months ago.
But he's not the leader of APC in the state.
But in spite of that, the other persons that are not APC members, are they not part of the state? Are they not working towards the development of the state? Are they not paying taxes to the state? Are they not also part of those that will need to also be able to feed their family? Where is the area of merit here? in what he has just said now.
Okay,
Then it
maybe
is thrown off.
he will find
Nobody is
people
talking
within the
about merit
APC
any longer.
that have that merit. Now, Prince, I look at your face and I see you are trying, you giggled at some point. You understand politics very well. When back in June, when Omar defected and he came out with this more like pure governance system that look, nobody will be victimized and all of that. At that point, did you believe him?
I didn't believe him.
Okay.
I don't believe politicians. I don't even trust them. Even my own family members want to become a politician.
Okay, so you are not taken aback.
No.
What is good?
The only reason why I listened to him was because, you know, they have these titles they add to their names. Pastor. Nigeria has been ruined by some of those who call themselves men of God. A lot of people will go to hell because of the actions of some of the so-called men of God. But you use pastor as a bait to deceive the people.
Let me ask you, do you expect a governor to award contracts to his political opponents?
He has said it now.
No,
No. Okoro, you see, this thing didn't start with him. And that's why I say we allow illegality in Nigeria, and over time it becomes legal. The governor of Edo State, Okpagolo, came up and said if you don't wear a Bola Ahmed Tinubu's cap, you will not be allowed into government house. You will not be allowed into government premises. And we just laughed. We just looked at it and we said, yeah, let him do what he... No! Our leaders are not accountable. The problem that led to the coup in Benin Republic, this is part of it. When the president woke up from sleep, changed the constitution, changed the game in the middle of the game. He changed the goalposts.
Prince, if you were a governor under the party ABC, will you award a contract to a member of
as a governor, you are not a governor of a particular party.
Okay.
You are a governor of the entire citizens of that state, even non-citizens.
Ideally.
That is the way it should be.
Ideally. Okay.
The kind of operation we're having in Nigerian politics is annoying, it's nauseating. Our politicians are pushing the Nigerian people to a point where if the people will react, we may not have Nigeria anymore. The kind of stupid things our leaders are doing. Our leaders are not thinking out of the box. A country where there is poverty, there is hunger, there is unemployment, and all we keep talking about is politics. This is 2025. Already we're talking about elections of 2027. People are aligning themselves. Nobody's talking about leadership. It's an embarrassing situation.
All right.
Okay.
Let's take the conversation to Mazi David Ihoma. Mazi David, what do you make of this, will I say, statement from the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor, saying that people that will be awarded contract to must belong to APC. And we're also juxtaposing that with a statement made by the governor of Edo State, Omebolo, when he went further to defend the statement he made about people wearing their alphabeta insignia cap, saying that it will create more jobs for tailors in Edo State. Recall, he sacked someone already for not wearing the cap. He sacked one of his aides for not wearing the cap.
See, all those statements joined together are undemocratic in a democratic society. The basis of awarding contract is not based on partisanship. It is based on competence and people who are renowned in a particular job they do as individuals. People bid for contract. It is not that politicians or political parties or members of parties that bid for contract. These are registered entities that has a very reputable integrity when it comes to whatever work or contract they're bidding for. They cannot politicize contract because the duty of the state is to ensure that any contract awarded should be awarded to those who have the competency and the capability to carry out the particular biddings they are aiming for. When you are now award contract to party members, accountability will be eroded. You can't hold them accountable for the job they do. They'll be substandard. The job you don't be substandard will not be up to the measurable standard they are bidding for. So it's inimical to our society and development for governors or leaders to be making such undemocratic statements that can only show division among the members of the state. With respect to what the governor of Edo State says, all those things are more just like they're giving the president hope, trying to make it look as if that one that determine what happened in the state. But when the election will come, most of those promises they make will not be
Okay, Mazi Ihoma. Now, how undemocratic is it that NJC had their conference the other time and the president was to speak and the president's campaign song was played by the band and we could hear some, judicial officers, lawyers, judges, some people there were mouthing the song, "On your mandate we shall stand." How does that make you feel? Were you there?
No, I was not there, but the person that the instrumentality, the band or whoever they engaged to chair the occasion ought to have been deeded decisively, because I will tell you that it was not the judicial officers that instructed him to play that song. It was Vasilios DJ or whoever the person is that
yes, but we saw the judicial officers sing along. Was it because it was a very rhythmic song?
The president was called to podium. As the culture is, everybody will stand up while the president was called to the podium. But the Vasilios DJ was the one who played that song where the judicial officers were standing up.
And the Vasilios.
Okay, so the DJ or the band played the song, but I wish we could play that video again because we played it here. When it happened, we heard some officers of the judiciary as well, some lawyers, judges, sing along, even though it was published later that no, the lawyers did not sing along, but we heard lawyers sing along in that clip that was put out there. Should that be blamed on the DJ?
If they have sung along, the problem we have that both the judiciary and the legislature are not independent. If they were independent, there is no how the president can determine who should be the principal members of the National Assembly. It's not possible.
Are we walking towards a dictatorship here? Gradually. Do you think so? Are we gradually moving towards a dictatorship in Nigeria?
Nigeria has been a dictatorship state right from the inception of the Nigerian constitution. The president saw a that he can now
help me explain that because I don't understand that. I'm lost here now. How do you mean?
I said the Nigerian constitution gives an ample power to the president that he cannot chair and coordinate affairs of the judiciary and that of the legislature. So that has made people not to be able to stand their ground and defend the autonomy and independency and impartiality.
Okay, we do have an interference there. I hope that will be resolved so we can continue the conversation. Well, let's bring you, while we try to work on that interference, let's bring you back to the studio. You've always clamored for a change to the Constitution. So, is this another reason to change the Constitution? You think the Constitution empowers the president to be, so powerful?
No, there are so many reasons to change the Constitution. This is the 21st century. Don't forget that when President Obasanjo was sworn in, there was no Constitution. There was no Constitution. What you have today that you call the 1999 Constitution is Decree 24. That was hardly put together by a wicked, self-seeking, self-serving political class working in cohort with the military.
But a lot of some Nigerians will always tell you like the Constitution is not the problem. It is the people that administer some of those things that are the problem.
Mr. Moses, if the Constitution is not the problem, and the Constitution says you can decamp from your party and hold on to the position you had from another party, why is it that...
No, the Constitution doesn't say that.
No. Why is it that people don't resign?
But the Constitution doesn't say that.
Why is it that you don't resign or you don't leave VOP, for instance? Maybe you're a GM in VOP. You leave VOP and go to another TV station and become a general manager there.
Because
and still collecting salary here.
Ethically, it is wrong. So it is a
constitution. It is a constitution.
Okay.
The constitution has created the lacuna for them to do that.
You're itching to say something.
I think implementation is actually the biggest problem.
Not the constitution itself. Yes.
We the interpreters of the constitution It's like whether they are afraid to do their job. You see, the two political parties are, a political party is in chaos with its members. The court says, go and sort out yourselves. It is an eternal thing.
Okay.
Another court will now pick that same matter again and begin to issue injunctions and counter injunctions, and what the Supreme Court has said is an eternal problem. So when you look at the interpreter of the Constitution, you know, and this is supposed to also be the one that will also punish offenders, you see, they are actually part of those that are making the Constitution look as if we don't have a Constitution. Okay, people defected, and we saw all that happened. We saw them with flags and all that. The court said they never saw them defect to another party. Until last week now, they now came up with a ceremonial thing and said they have defected. This defection, they've done it over a year ago. So when the interpreters of the Constitution are not sincere to the people and to themselves, the Constitution will always have blame.
I still disagree with you, sir.
Okay.
If the rules of engagement are clear, it will showcase itself immediately.
Okay.
If the rules of engagement are clear, you do not need to go through the back door, the side door to be able to say, it says white is white. We all know white is white. The problem is that that document has a lot of hidden landmines. And the politicians are taking advantage of the landmines.
All right then.
But if the laws are clear, that says you lose your power, no two ways about it.
But it has happened. It has happened in a case in our own those states. Somebody decamped and he lost his seat.
So what has happened after that?
Why is it now that some other persons are not decamping, they are not losing their seat? That's why I say
because the parties are having internal
That's what I'm saying, that implementation is the problem.
Because
it was done in Ondo State and somebody was punished for it.
The Constitution gives you a way out. The Constitution shouldn't give you a way out.
Okay.
It gives you a way out. And the politicians are capitalizing on that way out.
Every law has some.
That's what they call technicalities. There's always technicalities in every law.
There's a loophole. Well, let's go back to that video. I hope we've been able to rectify the audio issue with Mazi, Ihoma, and Chika, so we can get their views on the conversation. But let's take that video where "On Your Mandate We Shall Sing" song came up. Let's take that video. Let's be certain we have it. Your mandate we shall stand. Well, Mazi, no, it's okay. We've seen it multiple times. Mazi, Ihoma, please. You were reacting to something there.
Yes, I said previously that based on what you said that some people sang that song.
Yes.
But my reservation listening to the whole thing was that it was the DJ that played that song when the president was called to the podium. But I also said that the problem we have as a country is because there is no independence of judiciary and independence of legislature. These organs of government are supposed to be separated institutions working for the benefit of the state, but fully independent. They are not loyal to the president. But our constitution made it that the president have so much power that these arms of governments are loyal to the presidency because the president can literally terminate the appointment of the head of judiciary, remove anybody at the National Assembly. So when the president wears such enormous power, there cannot be anyone that can curtail or call him to order because the power is too much. So that is my opinion with respect to that video.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Chika, let's get your reaction very quickly. Do we still have Chika with us?
Well, imagine giving state police to people like Akwa Ibom State Governor, people like Edo State Governor. Imagine the implication. So what the governor said is not new. It is not new. These are the things these governors do in their respective states. So he's merely, it was God that made him to reveal his own. You see it? So these are the things all the governors do. If you are not member of their party, that is why their projects do not last. this is why they don't give contracts to people who have what it takes to deliver on contracts, to deliver contracts. So it is just unfortunate. It is just unfortunate. So that's what we have seen, and we will continue seeing it until Nigeria decides to fix itself.
The question I asked is, do you think, in your opinion, do you think Nigeria is gradually tilting towards a dictatorship under this administration?
Is it about this the song you?
No. About the way things are being done, where governors are mandating those that work with them to represent the person in power, where governors are saying, look, you have to be a member of the party, where governors are going to the APC, where political parties don't seem to, we don't seem to have opposition parties, effective opposition parties. The APC seems to be the only viable party right now. That's the angle from which I'm asking the question.
Well, party politics in Nigeria is one of the worst world over, because it makes democracy one-sided. It makes democracy one-sided. One-sided in the sense that when a governor emerges, that governor thinks that he's governing only members of his political party. He does not believe that other members of other political parties are part of the ownership of the states, of the territories they govern. So it is what it is. Nigeria, it is part of what is putting Nigeria into a mess.
All right, thank you.
I don't know if I understood you well. Well,
that's okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We're not wasting much time. The Nigerian Labour Congress has announced plans to hold a nationwide protest. And the date for that protest will be December 17, over the escalating insecurity in the country, particularly in the recent spike in attacks on schools. And the decision, this decision was reached during the National Executive Council meeting of the Congress held in Lagos, with a communique jointly signed by the NLC President, Joe Ajero, and Acting General Secretary, Benson Opa. Also, we have pensioners in Nigeria and local contractors threatening to protest naked over unpaid wages, arrears, and every other thing. What do you make of this? I'll start off with you, Mr. Elvis. What do you make of this? 17th of December, NLC want to protest again for incessant killing and kidnapping. We have pensioners and contractors threatening to go naked to protest. Recall that they put a coffin the other time in the front of the ministry.
Let us be serious. Is it today? The day just got done before the NLC, the insecurity matter. Let's be serious. Forget about this present crop of NLC. There's nothing that Nigerians are expecting from them. Nigerians are. We even saw everybody, all we have been talking about insecurity since all this while. They just woke up on Monday and started issuing statements and talking of going on a protest. Well, let them go. Let us also see how their own protest is going to make any difference. But I'm not seeing much from them. But for the pensioners, it's so shameful that people who put in their life for 35 years, are being treated in this manner, because these are no people who never had the opportunity to actually line their pockets with public funds. The little they are expected to have to be taking care of themselves is also being taken away from them. I don't know why this government is looking at the other side, seeing these protests coming up from our aged father and mothers. It means by the time you are doing this to these pensioners, what are you encouraging? You are encouraging corruption, that even if you put in your best in the service for 35 years, this is how your own is going to end. That's what they are just showing. All right. They're telling us that this is how it will end.
Okay.
I don't know why you guys keep talking about NLC. We don't have an NLC in this country. Those guys are not serious. They're the most serious set of human beings. Talking about them is wasting the time of Nigerians. We're talking about pensioners. People who have worked within 35 years, they're not getting their pension paid. That is where NLC should come out. NLC should not be telling us they want to protest against insecurity. What will their protest do?
It's not making anything.
What will their protest do? So, NLC is, as far as I'm concerned, The Christmas season by the corner. They are broke, so they want to collect Christmas bonus. Please don't bother me with that.
Master David Ihoma, what's your take on this, please?
It is justifiable in a democratic society for anybody to protest. What will determine the outcome of the protest is what demands are. There are demands on the issue of insecurity. The governments are trying, we say they're doing their best. That is what they can do. But I don't think there's any meaningful thing that can come out from the protest. But I think with respect to the retiree, those pensions are being owed. It is very, very sad. I mean, being as a lawyer, there is so much corruption in civil service. We have gone to places that civil servants is so corrupt. So I think this is one of the reasons why they are corrupt. If you have served for 35 years and you don't get your pension or gratuities, and it's quite a devastating. And people died without getting destined. So I think the government should be sensitive about this people's plight and pay them their gratuities or pension as a.
All right, I guess we lost connection to Mazi David Ihoma. Okay, and that's how far we can go, in today's show, today's This Morning Voice of the People Television. We thank you, Mazi David Ihoma, Esquire, and the Public Affairs Analyst for your submission. Also, Chika Ngoba, a Knight of St. Christopher, a good governance advocate and the Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for also being part of today's show. Mr. Elvis Elimile, thank you for being here. Prince Francis Chilaka, we appreciate you. I also say a very thank you to the backroom staff. The director of the show, the producer of the show, also Chaba Innocent, the bard, the angels, and the sound engineers, every other person that made today's show, what it is today. We appreciate your presence. And then on behalf of my colleagues in the studio, Chukuma Okoro, Moses Humphrey, I am Fina, Chukuman Mo, I have to say it again. Nigeria will be great again. Nigeria is a great nation.
Amen to that.
And we're
Amen
giants of Africa.
Amen.
And we'll continue to be giants.
Nigeria is a blessed nation.
Amen to that.
Okay.
Whether it's
We have
great
to work
or
towards
blessed,
greatness.
I say amen to that.
Oh, amen to it, right?
You're speaking into the future.
Continue.
So, amen to that. But anyway, join us again in a few minutes, 10 o'clock. We'll be flipping the pages of the papers, analyzing the headlines and other stories within the papers. And we'd like some of these gentlemen to stay with us into newspaper review. But that's it on the show. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us again at 10. Bye for now.
From the views on the streets,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories